We are happy to announce that this episode of the SW Show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights, maybe it's Mike camera, maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out.
Cool, 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 cool.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the summer break version of the Formula S show. It's me, AJ. Mike's got a new wave band forming in the background with all the bands.
Oh, I see you saying that. I was like, I'm like, what do I have? I'm confused. I have nothing. Hello everyone. I'm here. I am attending. I'm currently behind the wheel of a what's the name of a sports car? A Maserati, I believe it's called. An electric Maserati.
It definitely sounds like you're in the car. Jesus Christ.
I'm currently going 210 miles an hour. Thank you. Any further questions?
No, but what we have to talk about are... Oh, why didn't I don't know why I did it, but... First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. If you know, you know. I had it here. It's basically confirmed that Porsche is going to be in F1 this year, or soon.
Really?
They registered a trademark, and I didn't save the headline, so I'm not going to be able to find it. Of finally, but it's F1 NALLY. So they trademarked that phrase. The only reason you do that is because you're going to use it. And it's a little telling, right, that they're using it in that sense, in that spelling specifically.
Really?
Well, I mean, think about, like... Oh, Jesus, my German's not that good. Is there a way around this? Because, like, you know, there's very few trademarks that don't end up getting used. Or... if they are used, yeah, I want English. Damn it. Except, there we go. Alright, so also, kind of the driving factor behind this Porsche news is the 2026 engine regulations were finalized. So, okay, so what does that mean, basically? Effectively, we now know what the engines will be from 2026 onward.
Okay.
So, teams can start figuring that stuff out, which we'll get to because there's actually a lot of changes. But you know, the rumors have long been that Audi and Porsche were going to hop into F1. These rumors have been around for a very long time. The Porsche trademark makes it feel like that's more of a reality. Porsche also owns 50% of Red Bull powertrains, which they kind of snuck in. It was in a investor thing. So, yeah, basically, kind of the draw here is it's gonna be way more efficient and way cleaner, basically. So Audi and Porsche are effectively just, at the point of they're in without technically being in.
Interesting.
And at least one other car company could approve a Formula One commitment in the fall. Interested parties are located in the US and Korea. So, this doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be in for the 2026 year. They have until June 30th, 2023, so next year, to enter for the 27 season.
Do you think that's what they would do? Because, so 2026, like, it's not that long away if you think about having to build this.
Kind of the way that this sounds is it would be more of an engine manufacturer situation. So this would kind of be going back to the early days of F1, right? Where, like, Ford was in F1 with Cosworth. And basically anyone under the sun had a F1 motor. And supplied some team with it. So it kind of sounds like that. Obviously, the rumor mill, if we're looking at the States, is Ford with Cosworth. GM has no ties to F1, past or present. And technically Chrysler's part of Stellantis, which is French owned, I believe. So yeah, it would probably be Ford if I had to guess from the States. Also, Haas run Ford in NASCAR, so there could be the potential there. As far as Korea, I would imagine it's just the Kia Hyundai Corporation. Like, whatever their parent company is. Like, I'd imagine it's just them. Right? Like, why else would you... Like, if you say Korea, Korea's not that big. They only have one major conglomerate that makes cars. So... I would feel like if it was between Ford and, let's just call it Kia, because I forget what the name of their conglomerate is, I think it would be the Koreans. Solely for the fact that they kind of have the cash to do it and the drive to do it. So
what I don't understand, right, is why... What is the hole that you think they're going to fill? Is it just that the current one, like the current engines aren't doing it for them, and they just want, like, because it's one thing to, like, change distributors, a whole new distributor coming in of Asia.
I think the drive to get more manufacturers in is more on FOM, Formula One management. They want more people in because, in theory, it means more money.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I have a breakdown here of what the 2026 regulations are and what they are compared to currently. So, In 26, their total horsepower output is going to be over 1,000 horsepower. Currently, they're right around that 1,000 mark. The base internal combustion will remain the 1.6 V6. You will lose the MGU-H, which is good because that seems to be a problem for a lot of teams. The MGU-K, which is basically attached more or less to, it's kind of like a turbocharger, but it charges a battery. It's going to be in a safety cell, and that stuff's going to be standardized. So whether that's the battery that's standardized, whether that's the mounting hardware, something for the MGU-K is going to be standard. So it's one less thing to worry about. And the total MGU-K power is going to be 350 kilowatts. That is up from the current 120 kilowatts, which is the K and H combined. So basically we're going from 160 horsepower to 470 horsepower. That is going to be electric. So basically reining in the combustion side of it and boosting the battery side of it. We will be switching to 100% sustainable fuel, zero fossil fuel. So this is...
Are we going to eat it up? So we're going to double the amount of fuel eating, is what you're telling me?
No. This sounds like it's going to be the same situation as what they're trying to do with airlines right now.
Airlines, that's been a big push. Like, airlines haven't all been doing it, it's been hitting the flight, but, like, it's been a big push.
Yeah, so currently they use E10, which is, obviously 10% ethanol. Roughly what we have here in the States for our normal pump gas. Obviously the octane's a little bit higher. But the fuel flow will be going from 100 kilograms an hour down to 70, which will be a target of 70 kilograms an hour. Obviously, it makes sense when you think about the power generated by the combustion engine is going to be significantly reduced. So you need less fuel, which just makes sense. Engine dyno hours. This is basically how much time you can run your motor and test it, right, and gather data from it. Mm-hmm. Currently, they are limited to 9 test benches, basically 9 sessions, for 300 operational hours this year, and then 1,800 operational hours between 23 and 24. The test bench hours will be going from 200 this year and 1,130 for 23 to 25. So the dyno hours for starting in 26 will go up to 700, obviously because it's going to be a new motor. But then it'll be going down to 400 from 27 to 2030. So basically, F1 is trying to push for a kind of build it now and then refine it, not a iterate on it every year situation. The test bench hours will be going to 500 for 26 and 400 from 27 to 2030. Basically, the ICE test bench is just the combustion engine. So the engine dyno can use everything. You know, they effectively build the whole motor, so not just the internal combustion engine, but the MGUs as well. They'll put all that stuff together and run it on an engine dyno. Well, then you can also just run the internal combustion engine. So those are the two testing things. Engine usage limit will be going from 3 currently to 4 for the first year, and then 3 every other year. Currently, the power breakdown is about a 75-25 split between the combustion engine and the battery. So you're looking at about 850 horsepower generated through combustion and about 160, which is capped. It's capped at 160. In 26, it'll be roughly a 50-50 split. We'll be looking at 530 horsepower from combustion and 470 from the hybrid system. And the energy recovery system will be going from MGUK and H to strictly MGUK. And the cost will go up a little bit. So currently the cap for a power unit is about $95 million. That's all in, right? So that's everything. It'll go up to 135. That's not to say the motor in the back of a Ferrari currently costs $95 million. Right? It's just that's how much has gone into the development of that motor. So
that one's interesting to me that they would jump, because in my head, and apparently I'm wrong, is I just assumed those numbers naturally went up every year, just kind of like a natural, like, oh, we, like, it's now inflation or increased cost of goods. Like, I just kind of assumed that would happen. I didn't realize it was kind of like this set thing like that.
Yeah, no, it's, well, and especially with the budget cap, right? Like, that's a huge factor in this, too. Because you got to remember, right? Like, if oh, son of a bitch, why can't I? Whatever. Center and screen. There we go. If you can't, if you don't cap the engine when you have a budget cap, well, what are you really capping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we shall see what comes out of this. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about the rumored either Korean or American entry before the end of the year, is what I would assume. The other thing that I would assume is that the ticket prices for the Las Vegas race are going to be insane. It was announced recently that MGM is planning to buy between $20 and $25 million worth of tickets.
Whoa.
So that it can create hotel and event packages.
Like, I assumed that was why. That makes sense.
Yeah, like, you know, the thing people don't realize is if you go to an event where there's like a hotel and ticket combo, the hotel bought those tickets. Right? It's very rare that that hotel is given those tickets. They usually buy them at a significant discount because they're buying so many of them. And this is all coming from the CEO of MGM, Bill Hornbuckle. He also said that rooms may cost 3 times their usual rate, which makes sense, and packages could retail for up to $100,000.
That is wild.
The only thing I can think is that $100,000 package is like the top of the top suite at the MGM Grand and the Paddock Club passes for all 3 days. I don't see how else you can do that. Like there's just, to me, no physical way that you can do that.
But yeah, 100 God. Also, the was it 7 times you said room rates? Like, Vegas rooms are already 3 times, but like Vegas rooms are already decently expensive. Like, that's kind of the thing I've always joked about, because like Vegas is the thing. Like, oh, rooms are cheap, so you could gamble a lot. Rooms are not cheap in Vegas. I don't know whoever said that's wrong, but like when you go to any of the like named resorts, like the big ones, rooms are not cheap there.
I think a lot of people say Vegas is cheap. It's not necessarily that hotels are cheap. Basically, everything else is, because you're spending so much money everywhere else that you're like, oh yeah, it's only $10 or it's only $15 or whatever.
You're getting it like every 5 minutes. You're spending $10. That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem. Is it's no one sits and actually thinks about how much it costs. They're just like, well, it wasn't that much.
Also, apparently, Tony Storm is trending on Twitter right now. Something that is trending in a good direction. The FIA officially announced they are changing the roll hoop design in response to the collapse of Alfa Romeo Sauber's roll hoop in the Guan Yu Zhou crash at Silverstone. So, basically, what this means is they will be rounded instead of, I believe it's the Ferrari teams, so Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Ferrari, have more of a triangular roll hoop, whereas some of the others are a little more oval, some of them are more of a circle. And that will go into place for next year. They are going to introduce a new load test for roll hoops in a forward direction instead of just, I assume it was just like a top-down direction. So, another push towards making F1 a safer place. So, and in semi-related news, Susie Wolff, who is the wife of Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff, has departed Venturi Formula E as their CEO. She was previously the team principal of Venturi, however you want to say it, before she took over the role of CEO. Venturi is transitioning into Maserati next year, so it's going to be a branded team. But yeah, that is pretty crazy. Speaking of crazy, Valtteri Bottas has released a bucket hat. Because of course he has.
Because of course he has.
Another couple quick things. Kimi Räikkönen will be racing in NASCAR. Depending on when this goes up, he's already done it. This will be interesting because there will be 7 different countries represented in this race. It's starting to look like an F1 grid. Obviously, Kimi's Finnish. Daniel Suarez, who is a mainstay in NASCAR, is Mexican. Loris Hezemans is Dutch. Mike Rockenfeller is German. Daniel Kvyat, another former F1 driver, is Russian. Kyle Tilley is from the UK, and then everyone else on the grid is from the great United States of America. And they will be at Watkins Glen in the Finger Lakes region of the state of New York.
I'm sorry, the Finger Lakes region?
Yeah, Finger Lakes.
What?
Yeah. Beautiful area. Beautiful area. Also, speaking of countries, if you watch this live, you get to see this chart. If not, we get to talk it over. Somebody made a chart of F1 races by countries and color coded it based on how many there were per year and all that. I want you to take a guess. This is as of 2022. I want you to take a guess what country is in first place in terms of most races hosted all time.
So my instinct went to something like, I wanted to take Spain. I think that would be where my guess currently is, Spain, or because I had it, like, it has to be someone like centrally, like Europe, kind of ish, or Southern Europe region.
Okay. So you think Spain?
I'm going with Spain.
Spain has hosted 59 races.
I will take that as not the most races.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 8th place.
God damn.
That is directly above Canada and directly below France.
Okay.
With a resounding 104 races hosted in Formula One.
Okay.
The country that I don't know how it continues to hold money, Italy.
So Italy was going to be my second. Actually, so I thought Italy first, and then I changed it to Spain. I was like, it can't be Italy. I was like, there's no way.
Italy has hosted a race since the beginning. And there was a long stretch where it was hosting 2, and then it's hosted 3 in a year. Second place is Germany with 79. Now you may be thinking, how is that so? Germany used to have 2 races. They would have Hockenheim, and then they would have Nürburgring. And in years where they both weren't on the schedule, it was usually one of them, and they would rotate which one it was. They haven't had a race for the past couple of years due to financial issues in the country, which means third place will probably overtake it, which is the UK at 77. And kind of the surprise for most people, I would assume, is that the United States of America has hosted 73 Formula One races.
Duh.
Putting it in 4th. Directly above Monaco at 68. Belgium's at 67. So, and the fact that it's going to host 3 next year takes it to 76. The UK will only have 1. It'll have Silverstone, so that'll go to 78. And the US will go to 76. So you have Germany at 79, the UK at 78, US at 76. And Italy, in theory, would still hold on to its 2, so it would go up to 106. So you're not going to... The only gap that's closing there is the UK or the UK to Italy. That's the only gap that could close, basically, because Germany, I don't think, will be hosting one for a while. Got a lot of countries in the teens and 20s. South Africa has hosted 23 races. Bahrain, surprisingly, has hosted 19. Malaysia has 19. China is at 16 already. The UAE is at 14.
Like, these will...
What's that?
I think these will go up probably, too. Like...
Yeah, you have to assume China's going to come back on the schedule. Um, Singapore is at 13. Turkey is at 9. Russia is at 8. Azerbaijan is at 6. Sweden has hosted 6. Switzerland has hosted 5. Korea hosted 4. India 3. Saudi Arabia 2. Morocco and Qatar have both hosted 1. I think the one that would surprise a lot of people is how high South Africa is on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Considering I believe its last race was, let's see, 93. So its last race was before a lot of us were born. So, but like Argentina is at 20. Brazil, surprisingly, is only at 49, which is odd when you consider like Brazil was is a staple on the F1 calendar, and it had hosted a race every year until 2020, and then it had off in 2020, then it came back for 21-22. So.
Mm-hmm.
Austria is at 37. It's tied with Hungary, which is hilarious when you think about the political history of Austria-Hungary. But yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of been a slow off-season. Like, obviously we had the whole contract dispute between Alpine and McLaren, and which is all kicked off by Vettel retiring.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to hold off talking about that contract stuff until it's finalized, because it's so fluid that we could talk about it now, and between when we talk about it and when it gets posted, it could change, so we're just going to leave that alone. But other than that, here's a list of the most podium finishes in Formula One. It appears to be a top 10, so it's not all of them. Lewis Hamilton, obviously in first with 188 podiums. Michael Schumacher was at 155. Oh, camera just turned off. I have to give credit to Michael Schumacher because he raced in a time where there was between 15 and 19 to 20 races a year. Like 20 was the most, I think, that he ever raced. Lewis Hamilton has almost exclusively raced in a time where the calendar has been no smaller than, I believe, 18 races. So he's had way more opportunity. And to prove that, Sebastian Vettel has 122 podiums.
Sheesh.
Jeez. So between Hamilton and Vettel, there's 310 podiums. Obviously, there were a bunch of times where they both finished on the podium, so those numbers get a little inflated. Verstappen's already at 70. Verstappen's currently 10 podium finishes behind Ayrton Senna, to show you kind of how those numbers have been inflated. Alain Prost has 106 podium finishes. I don't think his calendar was ever bigger than 15 races. So the fact that he had 51 wins in his time racing, which is absolutely insane, considering he raced against Senna for several years. It's nuts how inflating the schedule can make those numbers just skyrocket. But yeah. Okay, here's
Nice.
something. Here's something fun because somebody posted this. The Grand Prix closest to your birthday.
Okay. Okay.
So let me pull up the Wikipedia page for Formula One. There we go. And then season results. Still have it. See also F1 games. No, I want the. Oh, do I have to go to its sub article? We'll go to the F1 website. It's just easier. Yeah, sure. I'll manage my settings. Reject all. Where's the reject all? Reject all.
Oh, it's the damn
Gotta love
European
cookies.
rule. You don't just accept all cookies for trying to just spy on your thing?
No. So, Mikhail, you were born in the year 1996, right?
Yep, it's November 3rd, 1996.
Okay, so 96, the closest one for you would have been the Japanese Grand Prix, which was the season finale that year, which was won by, I believe, the eventual champion, Damon Hill. So now you can go watch that and see what that was like. For me, it was the Australian Grand Prix, won by the exact same person, Damon Hill. Who would go on to finish second that year in the championship behind Michael Schumacher. You know how we complain about like nobody winning? Like there's a select few drivers who win now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the 95 race winners: Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, Jean Alesi, Johnny Herbert, David Coulthard. So I think there were 5 winners. Right? Schumacher, Hill, Alesi, Herbert. Yeah, there were 5 guys that won in 1995. And there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 races. Only 5 guys won. If we go to last year, 21, there were like 22 races, I think. We had Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Ocon, Ricardo, Bottas. So we had 6. We had 6 winners last year, compared to the 5 in 95. So, guess what, people? Shit don't change.
Shit don't change.
So, yeah. Fun little summer break episode of Formula S.
Nice. And we'll be back with races, what, in 2-3 weeks?
Yes, as we're recording this, it's not this weekend, but next.
Perfect.
So, see y'all then.
See y'all then. The SW Show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by our contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW Show on social media at the SWW Show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.